I've done it. So there we go. So we are live.
Incredible.
So, welcome back to the channel, everyone and anyone or no one who's watching. Adrian, so you left a message. How you doing? But it's a 0 above me. So there's no one watching at the minute, but I'm sure they'll come in. So let's wait until some people come in. Let's have a little chat. There's 3 people watching.
Who wants to start?
Come on, we'll go. So welcome back to the channel, everyone, anyone watching. To Matt and AJ chats. At and AJ. Yeah, so it's because I'm eating a bit of pasta there. There's some pasta left in the fridge from, I don't know, 3 days ago. I'm sure it's still all right. So welcome back to the channel. And obviously Matt's with us. And welcome to our 2 guests returning. We've got Martin from I can't get my words out. I was going to say Morco then. 4K Michelin star movies. And
Hello.
Ash from Figures and Tings.
Hello.
Now, it's Ash's first time on the chat. Obviously, both Martin and Ash have channels of their own. I have linked in the comment feed. I don't know if you can copy and paste them and get to them, or if they work as an active link, but I will put them into the video afterwards. So, thank you, gents, for joining. Great having you on. This is actually Ash's first ever live stream.
Indeed.
So we're stripping him of his his live virginity, as if it were. And Martin is returning back to his seat now, but like I said, Martin's been on some live before, so fantastic. So first of all, let's just I'll go around the room, starting with Ash because this is his first time. So do you want to tell us a little bit about your channel that you've got, what you do, and that sort of thing, what your interests are with it, and yeah, why you got started?
Well, I've been a collector since I was like 7-ish when I got into Doctor Who, heavily into when the Doctor Who figures started coming out and stuff like that. I've always been I've always loved just having my displays. When all my friends would come over throughout my life, they were always just like, "Oh, this is incredible! This is incredible! You should do something with it." So, made other YouTube channels about growing up in middle school and what have you. Got to uni. So when did I start the channel? Probably about just after the first lockdown, before we went into the second one. I started putting my stuff together because yeah, I always liked YouTubers I quite like the American YouTubers like Wet Movie One, Cool Duder and stuff like that. I've watched them for like years now, and it's like I've always wanted to do stuff like that. So just started with my Doctor figures because Doctor is my favorite TV show of all time. Always loved it. So yes, it seemed like an easy place to start, and then I started seeping more into the Blu-ray stuff because I've always wanted to talk more about films, and obviously I went to uni and studied film, my degrees in film. I've been doing that since I was in high school, so that's almost 12 years now since 10 to 12-ish, and so I was like, oh yeah, just enjoyed it, and I'd like just coming across a few other people. I had a good interaction with do YouTube anymore. Laura's Collections. She was really nice, and she helped me get a bit of a footing. And then yeah, just started involving more in the community and stuff like that. And it's here it is. The channel really is a load of nonsense, if you ask me. I just sort of do it on a whim because my mental health is all over the shop, and I don't really try. I try and stick to a schedule in my life, but at the same time, just comes in waves, doesn't it? It's just like with everything in my life. Like at the moment, I'm not really watching any Doctor Who. At the moment, I'm really more into watching my films and stuff like that. Like over the last 24 hours, I've watched all 4 John Wick films for the first time. So it's like, yeah,
all 4. Did you say all 4 of them? Okay.
Yeah, because my mates were really into it, and I've always really been into them since throughout uni. And they're always like, "Oh, I should really watch them." I was like, "Yeah, I'll get around to them." Never did. And then the other day in the chat, they were like, "Oh, do you want to go watch John Wick 4?" And I was like, "Yeah." Now I have to watch all 3 John Wicks, and so I did that over the last days, and it was really enjoyable. Yeah, I really enjoyed the franchise. It was really good.
Great. Don't spoil it for anyone.
Yeah.
Those who haven't seen the fourth one.
Go watch the
Yeah, no, yeah.
So it's just dawned on me that you're making me feel extremely old. Because, as we know, it was your birthday, if you don't mind me saying. And you were how old?
25. Yes.
25 years young, all right? And you're talking about playing with your Doctor Who figures when you were like 7 or whatever. My oldest son is 24 tomorrow.
Happy birthday
So,
to him.
Yeah, so I do remember all the Doctor Who figures myself. Now, as you know, I've watched your channel and left comments for some time. Good stuff. Because obviously the figure side of thing, as you know, I'm sort of into that as well as not that I get Doctor Who figures, but I've got an interest in them as well as having the film side of things. Michael's movie corner's just popped in. I will go back to the comments, but Michael, if you're watching, Ash here, Figures and Things, he's a big Doctor Who fan, so it'd be great for you two probably to get to know one another.
I have recently subbed to Michael's Movie Corner because I just watched it. I watched the live stream. I didn't watch it live. I watched it after at work. I was watching through the live stream when you gents were on. It was really good. Yeah, really liked it. I found it mad that Michael's. I can't believe he said that Empire was his least favorite Star Wars. I was like, wow, that's crazy. I love people that have the wildest opinions. Like I love that. It's like I'm so happy that he doesn't like it and he's just like, yeah, don't like it, because that's it. There's straight up just a lot of people are too. I think there is a lot of, I don't know, just being, sometimes even myself, I can be like, oh, I don't want to be too harsh on this movie or what. But it's just your opinion, really, and it's just I respect it, you know. That's
right, but we don't, and thusly all future invites to Michael have been revoked. No, I'm only joking. I'm only joking.
Yeah. But Michael is subbed, and I've subbed to Michael. Yeah, he said he's
subbed to you as well. He has just left a comment. So, Martin, welcome back.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Of course, mate. Obviously, you were meant to be on a couple of weeks ago. It didn't happen.
Yes.
And glad to come on today. Fantastic.
Yes. Thank you.
You want to do a little bit of plugging of your channel?
Yeah. So
I'm
Martin from 4K Michelin Star Movies. I started my channel kind of middle tail end of last year, but only kind of recently that I've kind of had more time to kind of devote to it, do more videos. I was a little bit camera shy initially, so I was kind of struggling with that initially. But once I kind of got to grips, with that whole thing, it's been going very well recently. So I was on a live stream with Playtendo guy, Scott the movie critic, and Keith from Euphoria the other night. That went on for 4 hours. That one, so I was like, whoa! So didn't get off to about midnight. So it started at 7:30, got off at midnight. So I was absolutely shattered by the end of that one.
I can imagine. That was Pete's live, wasn't it?
Yeah.
He does that weekly, doesn't he?
Yeah.
That's why we stick to 2 hours.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, that's why I thought it was going to be like an hour and a half, 2 hours. And obviously it got to midnight. I was thinking, well, when's this ever going to stop? It's just like. Predominantly my channel is predominantly 4K and Blu-ray. I do unboxings for I collect steelbooks, collector's editions. I do movie reviews. I do collectables, but I don't kind of integrate that in my kind of Blu-ray channel because I don't see over my which shoulder that shoulder. I'm a massive Star Wars fan, and I do collect custom lightsabers. So I have a separate channel for that I'm kind of in the process of building.
Okay.
Coming soon. Kind of, it's kind of in its infancy at the moment, so I'm just trying to work out how to kind of get that one going as well. But predominantly, I'm kind of focused on my 4K Blu-ray channel at the moment. And as I say, I've been posting a lot of videos recently. I think I've got about 40 videos now. I think live videos, unboxings, and various videos for like daily and weekly pickups, things like that. So yeah, that's kind of what I'm focusing on at the moment, really. And obviously getting involved in live streams as well, which have been a massive help.
Great. So just a question, because obviously I incorporate collectibles into my channel.
Yeah.
Let me know when your this ain't a question, this is a statement, but let me know when your channel comes up.
Yeah.
Your lightsaber one.
Yeah.
They're quite expensive, aren't they? Because my boy, or my middle son. I've got 3 children. My second child, who's a son, my third is a daughter. He bought himself a one of them. I mean, I've got a load of the Black Series type of.
Let me go and grab one. I'll show you what I mean.
Yeah, show me.
Let me grab one.
That's that sort of selfish curiosity here.
So, this is Obi-Wan Kenobi's from Phantom Menace Episode 2, Attack of the Clones.
Yeah.
So basically, what it is it has like a 3D printed chassis, which has got which has got all the electronics in it. If I can get it out.
Okay. Yeah.
Get it out. Here we go. So basically, you've got a rechargeable lithium battery.
Yeah.
And you've got what they call a Profi soundboard. So this is basically like an open source soundboard, which basically has got an SD card in it, and it basically reads sound. It has folders with like wave files, sound files, or sound fonts as they're called, and basically the Saber reads it, and it's also got lights in it. Let me just give you a quick.
Do you have blades that connect to these?
Yes, it has a blade as well. Put that in the right one.
Don't break it.
I haven't turned it on. Hang on. I can't take Tuco alone. So you can do it like that.
Yeah.
Or you can put it in the actual saber.
Yeah. Pretty cool. Cool stuff. No. And how many of them do you have? Can't hear me over can't hear me over the saber noise.
He's got a whole piece. Look at that.
Oh wow, that's cool.
Quality.
And got
wow.
Yeah.
And you can also play
Real
music.
glow to it, isn't it?
Movie quotes. So that's basically a quick demonstration.
Yeah, no, good stuff. You have to let us know when that channel comes about. It still can't hear me over that saber.
Later. Anyway, so that's my lightsaber obsession.
Yeah, brilliant.
So the channel is kind of live, but it's
Okay.
only got like about 5 videos on it at the moment, and some of them are not particularly good. But I'm getting better because it's like with the Blu-ray stuff. You have to devote a lot of time into filming and getting all the cameras set up and stuff. So
Yeah, you got to find
yeah.
good stuff.
Yeah.
And Matt is back, obviously, with us.
Hello.
How are you, Matt? What's going on?
Yeah, I'm okay. I'm suffering with a bit of a cold at the moment, so I'm feeling a bit under the weather at the moment, to be honest. But do
you need to plug your channel, or we're beyond that now? Do we need to plug one another on each video?
Not really, no. I mean, I think my latest video is John Wick, the last John Wick. Well,
yeah, still
3. And then coming up will just be the Marvel videos most Saturdays. You'll probably start to see my videos scale back a bit just the Saturdays, because I'm kind of going through a bit of a period now where I'm not really picking stuff up at the moment. I've reached that point now where I feel I need to sort of just look at what I've got and concentrate on what I've got rather than it's mainly to do with space. But so
you
yeah,
need-
it'll just be the Saturdays that you'll see from me probably in the next month or so. There'll still be a few unboxings the next few weeks, but you'll start to see that sort of
But you'll still be doing the lives with us and all, and you
Yeah.
know. But you just have to find something else. You'll find something else to incorporate into the channel. Get some reviews going.
absolutely.
Get some
I'll have
rankings.
to have a think. But
Yes,
at the moment, I don't really feel like filming. I've got quite a lot filmed, but because I'm feeling a bit under the weather, I've not really filmed much at the moment. So, but yeah, once I'm over this, I'll start thinking about maybe a new series of videos or something.
Cool.
Yep.
So anyway, let me just have a look at some comments. So obviously, like I said, I have put links to each of the channels into the thingies. I don't know if people can copy and paste them or what, but go and sub to Ash and Martin, and Matt if you're not sub to Matt. And what more can I say to that? Nothing. I will include the links in the description afterwards. So we've got Adrian who says, "Afternoon, AJ mate. Happy Saturday." Hiya, Adrian.
Howdy.
Mark Bell saying hello. Hi guys.
Hi, Mark.
Cement Shoes. Hello.
Hello.
The Monkey. Okay. Morning, gents. Ash, this is a question to you.
Hello.
Who's your favourite and least favourite doctors?
Well, I'm going to start with saying I don't dislike any doctor less than I don't dislike any doctor's era. Every doctor's era has its high points and its low points, and I think every era has something to say about what the show is. So I don't dislike any doctor. Like I don't dislike Jodie, I don't dislike Matt Smith or Colin Baker, but I can easily say that my favourite doctor is Tom Baker. Tom Baker easily. It's just closely followed with Christopher Eccleston. Those two doctors really helped me fall in love with the show. I really like Christopher Eccleston as an actor. I think he's one of the best English working class actors, like in the 2000s. To be honest, I've always liked him in everything he does. He brings a great sense of realness to everything, and it felt really just, I don't know, it felt very relatable. All the settings, and just Tom Baker was just so. All his adventures were so they were really dark and gritty, and he was so bombastic and out there. And with Liz Sladen as well, just fall in love with all of it. To be honest,
I agree with Tom Baker. I grew up with Tom Baker as well. You know,
I think even his later seasons, I think if people slate season 18 for being quite boring, but I still think there's quite a lot of great political and social elements which talk quite well at the time personally, because I'm quite interested about that. It's what I wrote my whole dissertation on, was how he uses political and social elements to stay relevant, and how that's, I think, added to its longevity, because it was always adapting with the times. I know you're a big Star Trek fan, AJ, and I always like the comparison of when Star Trek started being shown over here, and how Doctor Who's started to compete with it, and how it really made the show it was really low budget and really tried to overextend itself, and it was just being I don't think it needs to really compete with Star Trek. They're just they're great with what they were, no,
that's cool. Although I can't let you off that easily.
That's all right. I don't expect
with your answer of I like them all.
All right. Okay. Least favorite.
You've got to. If there was one, if you had a gun held to your head right now, someone said to you, you've got every season, every Doctor Who in front of you, I'm talking core Doctor Who's who've had series.
So we're not. So
one? What? Yeah, no, we're not using none of the
You're not used. So we're not. So John Hurt's Doctor. So John Hurt's War Doctor's gone.
No, not had them.
Okay.
Because you've got your DVD selection in front of you of the whole series, and you've got to lose one series, one Doctor's entire series. Who would it be?
Oh.
No, he's right here.
Oh.
Remember, it's just an answer. It doesn't.
I know. I haven't thought this answer though. I'm probably leaning more towards. Oh, I hate to say it. I'm leaning more towards Capaldi's era, for the sole reason I think Stephen Moffat's writing really lost me. It really, really lost me. Like, I think it's fantastic at the beginning with Matt Smith. It felt so whimsical and so fresh compared to the Tennant era. But then just he was doing so much, and it really shows like when a writer has just got too much on his hands. It's just like I do really like a lot of the Capaldi stuff. And Capaldi is fantastic. He is one of like the best incarnations in the modern era. But overall, episodes are just I can miss loads of them, unfortunately, which is horrible to say because he's just fantastic. And I really wish that like in season 10, he started really coming out a bit more and stuff like that. There are some great elements to it, but unfortunately, I'd say overall his era is the weakest to me. And I know a lot of people are going to be like, "Oh, how could you say that over Jodie?" But I don't know. It's just
that's fair enough because you based it on the era and really not the Doctor itself.
Yeah.
And I agree with you, Stephen Moffat. I think was a fantastic writer when he was under Russell T Davies, but he took hold of too much as a showrunner.
Can I just say one thing? I've just seen Michael's comment saying I've lost his approval because it's massively underrated. Yeah, I do agree with that as well to an extent. That's the thing. I don't really want to get rid of any of the Doctor's eras, to be honest, Michael. But no, it's the one where like in the modern era, I really switched off. Like I watched all of season 8, the opener of season 9, and what was the one with Maisie Williams in as well? I think it was. And then,
I remember her being in it.
I don't know, just lost something for me. Maybe it was just what I was going through at the time. Maybe that's what I put it down to. It's like because I go through periods of time where I'm not watching Doctor Who, like I said earlier. But
fair enough. So, Martin, do you obviously you reckon Tom Baker yourself? Are you into Doctor Who?
I used to be into it quite a lot until Jodie Whittaker turned up, and then that's where I completely tuned out for me. Not necessarily a criticism of Jodie as the Doctor per se, but I think it was the whole Chris Chibnall writing, the whole everything. The writing was shit, and I think obviously maybe she got a bit of a bum deal because of the writing was so poor. But I just didn't her as a Doctor. It's nothing to do with the fact that she's a woman and all that rubbish. It was just something about her that I found very irritating, and it just chewed me out, to be honest.
That's fair.
Yeah, but I enjoyed Doctor Who all the way up to Capaldi. To be honest, I didn't have a problem with Capaldi per se. I really like Matt Smith. I thought Matt Smith was a really good Doctor. I really enjoyed his time, and obviously Tennant as well. He was pretty good. But yeah, I enjoyed all the classic Doctors as well. As I say, I grew up with Tom Baker, so because I'm a 70s child, so from 70s on, all the way through from Peter Davison, all the way through to I think I probably watched the first season of Jodie, and then me and my wife just lost interest in it. I just didn't think the writing and the stories were very good, and I thought it was all very
that's fair enough. I mean, Jodie Whittaker's I think the only era where I've not completed stuff, and it's not down to her being a female because I was willing to take the opportunity at the time, take that leap. I had no issue with that as long as it was done right, and unfortunately it didn't really work for me. But there we go. And Matt's you're not into Doctor Who apart from Thingy, are you really?
I've watched obviously classic Who. Yeah, I grew up with Tom Baker. Thought he was fantastic. Really liked Peter Davidson as well. Thought he was great as the Doctor.
Yeah.
Then it started to go downhill. Colin Baker, Sylvester McCoy. Those two Doctors really kind of that you saw the decline of classic Who. I felt with those two. Then it came back with the Paul McGann movie. I quite like that one. That was in the 90s, wasn't it?
Mm-hmm.
And then obviously we had
96, I believe.
Yeah.
I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I quite enjoyed that film. And then obviously Christopher Eccleston, I thought he was very good. I think he could have done an extra 2 or 3 seasons more. I thought he was very different to what we'd seen before, and it became very fresh, you know. And then obviously Tennant took over. Fantastic time with Tennant. For me, again, that decline for me was after he'd gone. Matt Smith, I couldn't connect with him. Peter Capaldi, I kind of dipped in and out of that, and Jodie Whittaker, I dipped in and out. I quite liked her, but again, I agree with you. The writing was just all over the place, and I didn't really sort of those last few Doctors. I never really sort of watched entire seasons. So for me, very much certain Doctors for me.
Yeah, cool. I mean, for me, I think my two of modern era, because I don't really venture back beyond, obviously I grew up on Doctor Who, I watched it, but from a physical media point of view, I don't get Doctor Who before the 96 movie. I don't venture back before that because of the sheer amount of it. With the exception of the two non-canon movies that came out from Studio Canal, just because I know that I won't ever get the opportunity to watch them. I won't get to sit down and watch them all again. I know that. But my two favourites are Tennant and Capaldi. Not so much the Capaldi era. I just thought Capaldi was great. I thought he was a really good Doctor. But there we go. So obviously we know Michael's here. Hi, Michael. Hope you're well. Hi, everyone. Hope you're all doing well. This is Ian.
Hello, Ian.
You're a big Doctor Who fan.
Yeah, Ash, do you know Ian?
I think he's recently subbed from a shout out you gave me from your channel. I've had a quick glance. I haven't had time recently to tell him properly though.
No, that's good.
Sub to it.
He's a big horror fan, and he's certainly for Hammer. If you like Hammer horror, he loves Hammer horror.
I mean, I see you're wearing a Halloween top yourself.
Yep, favourite film of all time.
Right,
Another thing you know about me, favourite film of all time. For being such a simple film, the way it just absolutely dominated the box office in America, and like there's a few like there was a new technique created where I can't remember exactly what it is. It's on one of the documentaries where Dean Cundy was like, to make it look like seamless at the beginning, basically the way he edited it together was really well done. And I just love it. Always love it.
Cool. So you're big into horror then?
Yeah, big into horror. It's probably my favourite genre of film.
Matt?
Yeah.
Stick Ash's name in that, never to be invited on again. I'm joking. So, Martin, what's your take on horror?
I love horror. I think that's probably. I like all genres of movies, but I think in the last probably 5 years, I've really kind of started to embrace the horror genre. I enjoy I enjoy modern horror, and I enjoy kind of like recently I've kind of started to get a lot of the kind of the bespoke. What do they call it? The kind of the video nasties, the Italian kind of, Italian horror that's kind of so good it's bad, and it's kind of, like the Lucio Fulci, all these kind of Italian horror video nasty directors. I'm kind of really kind of into that sort of stuff at the moment. I did a video for Hell of the Living Dead, the '88 release. Stuff. And House on the Edge of the Park are two that I kind of really got into recently. Obviously, I bought Cannibal Holocaust as well.
All that.
So I'm kind of into the video nasties at the moment. Kind of collecting that sort of stuff at the moment. I recently got the second sight release of Martin, the George A. Romero vampire. So that came the other day. I did a video for that the other day. So I'm kind of into that sort of the more kind of retro-y stuff that people don't really kind of know too much about. And I'll probably say I didn't know too much about it myself until kind of recently. Obviously I've been watching a few other people's channels, and kind of getting into it. So so I'm quite into that at the moment. But I do enjoy modern horror as well, from the 70s, 80s, 90s, all the way through to the 2000s, the noughties and stuff.
Yeah.
So I enjoy most horror stuff, really, to be honest. But I'm a big sci-fi fan, as I just demonstrated with my lightsaber.
Yeah.
But yeah, I enjoy all sci-fi. Again, I like retro sci-fi. I like retro sci-fi TV shows, like Doctor Who and Space 1999. I grew up big fan of that as a kid. Star Trek, the original Star Trek. So yeah, so I'm kind of really open to that sort of kind of stuff, really. That's kind of stuff I enjoy the most. But I enjoy action movies, I like the 80s kind of era of, Stallone, Schwarzenegger, stuff like that. Van Damme, Bruce Willis, when he was, in his prime in the 80s, doing all these action stuff, Die Hard and stuff. So yeah, I'm kind of, I like a bit of everything, really.
So do you think we're seeing, and this is Ash as well, and Matt, do you think we're seeing a revival of horror at the moment? Do you think horror's becoming a new mainstream genre more so than what it has been over the past, over the past few years? Has it sort of, we've seen a sort of revival? Do you think that's the case?
I think, yeah, sort of. It kind of dipped for a bit because early 2000s, it was the industry was really heavily like remake everything. And I think everyone just got bored of that quite after a while. And I feel like, I don't know, horror, I think, has changed gears more towards like you see stuff like Midsommar and Hereditary and The Witch and stuff like that. Deal with stuff just a bit more, I don't know, just a bit more. The way it's dealing with like grief and more human issues, I think, more than heavy, because I feel like the Conjuring series seems to be dipping in quality, whereas you got stuff that deal with more realistic elements, more thriving, Yeah, and I feel like the industry is giving more creative freedom back to directors in every sense in a lot of genres. So now it really lets horror be, just lets people dig deep into those dark minds, which leaves us with some absolutely polarizing films that are so like. Because I remember finishing Midsommar for the first time, and I was like, it was not long after I actually lost my brother. I watched it for the first time, and when I watched Florence Pugh do that opening scene, like the grief scene, it broke me. It broke me. I literally had to pause the film. I had to stop. I was out cold for about an hour because it was so mesmerizingly real to how I experienced it personally. I was like, this sort of stuff, I think, is a lot more interesting. But at the same time, horror still has a lot of cheesiness to it. There's still a lot of great cheese, like John Warren's *Malignant*. I absolutely love that film because of how batshit bonkers it was. What happened? I remember 5 people walked out of the cinema when we saw that, and I was just like, "Are you mad? This is so funny. It's so funny. I don't know. That's what I love about horror. It can be so scary and so ridiculous all at the same time." And I feel like I've just gone on a massive tangent. That is a massive problem of mine. I do apologise if that happens.
Well, that's fine. We'll rein you back in. Sorry to hear about your brother.
That's all right. It's a couple of years ago now. I just mainly just sort of do everything I do for him, like sort of
Was he an older brother or younger?
Yeah, older. He was 7 years older than me.
Okay.
He was like he was who I used to go to like the cinema with and all the time. He was basically he was my role model basically, whereas everyone other authority figures in my life weren't really there. He was always like consistently there, always wanting to make sure it was all right. Yes, just
well, sorry to hear about that. So do you think there's similar, Martin, that we're seeing a revival of horror? Do you think it could step up and overtake? Because obviously the biggest franchise at the moment or genre is superhero, which is on a decline.
Might have to move rooms because it's raining here. I don't know whether you can hear a load of rain. Can you hear rain?
It's not too bad, actually.
No,
okay.
Right.
No, I think you're all right, actually, to be honest.
Okay.
Yeah, I think you're all right.
I think in your video the other day it was raining, Matt.
Yeah, because I'm in the cemetery, so you can hear it.
It's all right. I like the sound of rain.
If it's bothering you, just let me know and I'll move.
I'll just mute you. Yeah. So do you think that's a fair thing to say, though, Martin? That horror's in revival.
I think there still is elements of that where that they are kind of still kind of milking a franchise. Obviously, we've got the new Evil Dead film coming out in April, which looks quite good, to be fair. But I mean, in terms of like new kind of modern stuff, I watched Infinity Pool the other day, the Brandon Cronenberg film.
Was it good?
I think you did a review on it, didn't you, AJ? I think you were a bit
Negative.
bit confused and by it all, but I actually quite enjoyed it, and I thought it was actually a really good film, to be honest. It is a lot to take in, but I think I actually enjoyed films like that where
Well, I'm going to move.
film, a film that kind of just films just kind of ends, and you just feel a bit kind of empty, and you think, well, that was kind of like an hour and a half that I'll never get back. But I found with Infinity Pool that you were still you were asking yourself questions about, why did he do that, and why did that happen? So I actually quite like films that kind of make you think towards the end. It kind of leaves you with like an open-ended kind of question, So I think there has been a few good films. Horror films recently. I'm just trying to. I think, as Ash said, I think Midsummer was another good one that I enjoyed. Again, the ending was a bit of an eye opener.
Yeah.
But it's one of the strangest endings to a film I've seen for quite a while. But what else? Another strange film, Men. I think that was another one you didn't like, AJ. Wasn't it?
No, I didn't.
another. Yeah, I quite enjoyed that in terms of kind of newer stuff. I think that kind of weird stuff I quite enjoy.
Yeah. All right, cool. So
yeah.
what was you saying, Ash?
I was going to say, with what film did you just mention, Martin? Sorry.
Men.
Yeah, I was about to say, I quite like Men when I first watched it, and then I've rewatched it subsequent times since. I feel like what's wrong with Men is like Alex has a lot of ideas in the imagery, but I feel like he's missing. It feels like it's missing a couple scenes personally, where it could be be a little bit more like, because it's like, because I was like, after I watched it, I was like, okay, right, I'm gonna have to Google some of this stuff, because I was just like, it felt like it was trying to say something, but it wasn't. Hello, Alex. Oh, sorry, it's just my housemate's just walked in the room. But no, yeah. But the other big horror movie I would say that I really liked over the last 2 years was Nope by Jordan Peele. I thought that was incredible. I just think he's on a different level personally when it comes to horror. He's I like how one of these people not afraid to wear his anxieties and his fears on his sleeve and really explore it in his movies, which I appreciate, because it's good I like directors that challenge their own anxieties in their own work. It makes it more personal, more interesting.
Yeah, I thought Nope was quite good. I didn't enjoy Nope as much as his previous two films, but the concept of it I thought was quite interesting. But I thought it's out of the three films he's made, I thought Nope was his weakest. But I thought Get Out and Us I thought were slightly better, but films. But and I enjoyed it anyway. Yeah, I know a few people didn't like it.
No, it's fair enough.
Yeah.
AJ, looking at you. No, to be fair, no, but I think I switched it off actually. I think I watched about 10 minutes of it and then turned it off. Jordan Peele just doesn't work for me. But there we go. Matt, any opinions on that?
Yeah, I mean,
I'll be back in 1 sec.
Get Out. I didn't mind. I thought that was quite a good film. What's the other one?
Us.
Us. Yeah. I don't know.
And he
it was
also
okay, but it didn't really. Yeah, it wasn't as great as and I have not seen Nope. But yeah, going on to the sort of the A24 films, I think they're kind of very much sort of at the moment really making an impact. Sort of very much this folk horror. I think at the moment is make a big revival. And I know Ian in the Ramblings, he loves folk horror.
Nice.
Now, for me, I enjoy horror films, but I just don't collect horror films. or if I do collect them, I tend to collect the paranormal ones, the Conjuring 2, the Enfield haunting, that sort of thing. I because that for me, I've experienced the paranormal as a child, so I've got a connection with it. So it's based in reality for me. Whereas sort of the slasher films, for me, if I've seen one slasher film, I've seen them all. But I can understand why people have a passion for them and they love them. But like the Halloween films, for me, I actually quite like Halloween 3, which probably for a lot of people,
Yeah, I do.
it's just so different to the others, and I actually quite like it. And again, AJ's similar to me, I think, with horror. He sort of doesn't necessarily collect a lot of horror. He likes his Chucky and Nightmare on Elm Street, Friday the 13th, but you're not a big collector of horror, are you?
Not really. I like the stuff that I grew up on.
Yeah.
Nostalgic feel to it. But I mean, any horror that I watch is more generally mainstream horror. Certainly don't watch the smaller stuff, you know, like your Italian directors and things like that. It's just not horror's a hard sell for me. That's all it is. It's a lot of horror. Number one, doesn't scare me anyway, so you're onto, you know, so it has no emotional effects in that sense. And I find that a lot of them, I like the setup, but I don't like the landing.
Yeah. Did you watch that film? What was it called? Barbarian.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I watched that.
Yeah.
I need to watch it.
Yeah.
And it's a bit of a mess in places, but then some people say it's really good. So it's
I enjoyed it. I thought it was okay. Yeah. But,
I think I enjoyed the opening section. The opening, cause it's like 3 acts, isn't it? That are different, but then come together. And I think I enjoyed the opening, and then I think again it didn't for me. It didn't land. Wasn't a bad film. One of the better ones.
Yeah. What was that other one? Ready or Not. Quite enjoyed that actually. That's a bit crazy, but it was sort of a bit comical, wasn't it? And the Menu as well. Have you seen The Menu?
Oh, The Menu. Yeah, that's brilliant. Yeah,
I like
really
I went in with that with no expectations, and then I was like really blown away. But I was like, oh, that was really fun. It was really good.
No, that was good. That was really good.
No, I did enjoy that one.
Yeah.
Anyone's seen the horror film Mad God, the stop animation one? I watched that the other day for the first time.
No.
Right. It's a Phil Tippett film. It's all stop motion animation, and it's got some of the strangest and very fucked up imagery throughout all of it. But it just is no dialogue throughout the entire film, basically. And it's just it was really good. My mate Tom was going on about, because we're really into monster movies like Godzilla and all that. We love talking about miniatures for hours on end. We talk about it for days for the sun going on. And he was like, nah, we've got to watch this movie. Came down on the weekend to celebrate birthday, and he was like, he got the DVD. He was like, go on, let's stick it on. I was like, go on then. Yeah, I was blown away by it. Recommend Mad God to anyone here.
Cool. Might check this one out.
Apparently, you're a distraction, AJ.
Yeah, I know. I just popped that up from that fella over Video Pasties. I don't know his name.
Yeah.
I don't even know why he's not blocked yet, that fella. So, Michael says he's just updated his list for what's in his collection. He's up to 690 DVDs and Blu-rays.
Very good.
Wow.
Soon, Michael, you won't be able to keep track of them.
Yeah. Clearly,
Rian says... say that again, sorry?
Clearly, he's not married.
Not yet.
No.
If he was married, he wouldn't have that much room.
Rian says you are awesome.
Which
All three
one?
of you. All of you. Everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Amazing.
Mark says, I've seen how expensive some lightsabers can get.
Yeah.
They can, yeah. Stuart George says lightsaber in the living room, respect. What's your missus think about that?
She hates Star Wars. Full stop. So yeah.
Oh dear. Yeah.
Yeah. Anything to do with Star Wars, yeah, she hates. Yeah, I've been quite unlucky with my last two partners actually, because my previous partner to my current wife, she hates Star Wars as well. So yeah, but
I think a lot
Yeah.
of women aren't into it. I know there are a lot that are, but yeah, my missus, she's kind of like not really fussed about it. I think she
Yeah.
watched like the first film and then lost interest. Same with Doctor Who as well. She's not interested in that, or Star Trek.
yeah.
No. They're just interested in their, I don't know, Tupperware pots. And, you know, I say to my missus, when I'm like watching something and she's not interested, I say, look, just take yourself away to your hobby room. You've got one in the kitchen. Just go. You've got loads of pots and pans that you've collected over the years.
Oh dear.
I'm not watching. Michael, getting a collection to 690 is always a great achievement. Air guitar, says the monkey. Michael says Tom Baker gets his seal of approval.
It's going to change in a few comments.
Is it? Good
Yeah.
to hear classic Doctor Who is getting the respect it deserves, says Ian.
Yeah.
The new season 9 box set is fantastic. Still excited by it. So Ian did do an opening of that at the start of the week, I believe. It came out Monday, didn't it?
Yeah, I've got halfway through editing the opening for it, but got a bit distracted. So yeah, should be about some time.
Martin, you don't get the Doctor Who's or anything, do you?
No, I don't. No. I don't, it's like I say, I don't really have. I'm running out of space, so I'm gonna have to buy another bookcase soon. Because I'm
the trouble, isn't it?
yeah, my 4Ks. Yeah, I've got my 4Ks is now starting to go on above where my lightsabers are now. So I'm running out of space. So I need to get a bookcase soon.
Yeah.
Michael says, and now he's lost my silver approval. Capaldi is massively underrated.
Just want to get it clear. I don't hate Capaldi. I just put it out in the world. Don't hate Capaldi. Great doctor. Still enjoy him. Love every doctor. But yeah.
Yeah, no, it's the right.
It's going to get clipped, and everyone's going to be like, "That guy hates Capaldi," and there's loads of people going to be like, "Why do you hate Capaldi?" But I don't. He's great. He's like, I love his respect to William Hartnell. How much he loves Hartnell and how much he brought that back into the character. Really love that as well. But yeah.
So I didn't know. Is Disney Plus doing a unit series then? I didn't know that.
So I've sort of been dipping my toes here and there, but yeah, Ian's probably better to tell you about it because I'm still a bit. I don't know about. Yeah, to be fair, I agree that them doing more side projects and stuff like that is good because obviously when Russell T Davies' era was back on, we had the likes of Torchwood and stuff like that, and Sarah Jane Adventures, which was great. So hopefully we'll get back to an era where it was more like where we had more option. I like the idea is we can have more options, so people didn't really like Doctor Who might prefer Sarah Jane Adventures. Don't like Sarah Jane Adventures might prefer Torchwood.
Yeah. Well, that was an interesting era, isn't it? Because you had Doctor Who, which was the mainstream one, essentially. You had Torchwood, which was more your adult-orientated Doctor Who story. And then you had Sarah Jane Adventures, which was aimed more towards the younger audience, the kids. It's nice to have that sort of juxtaposition for different age eras, I suppose. It was good. Michael says McCoy is another good doctor.
Agreed. Very agreed. One of the best incarnations for showing the darker side of the Doctor. I feel like from the end of season 24 onwards, just the way that they were going back into that mythos of the Doctor, so good. Season 26, so good. Just for the fact of how well, I just really love the writing. I think McCoy really brings an element to it. And yeah, no, that's just another great Doctor. I agree, Michael. I agree.
Cool. The monkey says, I got your Leap reference from Jodie Whittaker's pilot episode, AJ. Very cheeky of you. you're going to have to remind me of what that was that I said, because I'm getting old. My mind just drawn a blank there. I ain't got a clue what I said. It must have been good though. If it come from me, it probably was good. I don't know. Ian says, I love all the Doctors. I just get excited by them all. So Ian, if you're still watching, if you are still watching, Ian, if you had to lose one Doctor, who would it be? Let us know down below.
And it can't be, and the same criteria applies. It can't be War Doctor or the Fugitive Doctor.
Yeah, it's got to be a mainstream Doctor. One of the main ones who's had a continuing series.
I think Ian's been there right from the start, hasn't he? He's literally grown up with this series from a boy, you know. So probably out of all of us, he's the one who's seen so much change within the, you know, all the different iterations and writers, and so yeah.
Absolutely. So we're back onto horror now. I just watched Blood on Satan's Claw.
Heard of it, never seen it.
It's probably another Hammer, isn't it? Ian would be able to tell us that.
I don't know. Martin nodding. Do you know that one, Martin?
I've heard of it. I haven't seen it, but yeah, I think it is a Hammer. It's a Hammer horror.
Sounds like a Hammer film to me.
Yeah, I don't know. Sorry, I'm ignorant to those sort of things. Michael, Movie Corner, you're still the second biggest Who expert. Not a bad spot. I don't know. Ash seems to know his stuff.
Come talk to me. Come sit in a room with me for a day, and I will not just. I won't stop. It's just.
There'll be a Doctor Who takedown. Get all three of them on a live together and let them go at it.
That'd be fun. I love that. I love that.
Ian, Michael, and Ash, Doctor Who, go.
Let's do it, boys. I want that.
Here's a Star Trek question. Which famous actor? Oh, okay, fair enough. Good, nice question. Which famous actor would you like to see captain a starship? Or actress? Let's open it up.
Somebody that hasn't done it already.
Who though?
What about Tom Hanks?
I would go Nicolas Cage.
That's a great. That would be so incredible.
I like Nicolas Cage. I had a mate who used to say back in the day, this was around the era of The Rock and Con Air and all this. He would say to me that if Nicolas Cage done a 2-hour movie, sat in the dark, not saying anything, I would watch it because of how big a fan I was. I like Nicolas Cage. He's great.
Didn't Nicolas Cage come out recently saying that he was a massive Trekkie, didn't he? Because apparently somebody said to him about would you be in a Star Wars film? And he's like, no, never going to happen. I'm a massive Trekkie. Yeah, so he's like, no, not crossing that line. I'm a Trekkie. So yeah, Nicolas Cage would be brilliant for me.
So we've got Nicolas Cage from Martin. Who's next?
Come back to me. I'm still thinking.
Yeah, all right. Matt?
Well, I think Tom Hanks, you know, why not? He's a great actor, commands authority. Yeah, why not?
Do you want me to go while you're still thinking, Ash?
I'm going to go with Idris Elba. I don't know why. I think the same sort of points that just the commands authority can be also really vulnerable as well. I feel like he can just play it all. And he's got a really you've seen him in Pacific Rim as a leader. He's really got it. He can really do those big speeches and stuff like that. Yeah, I think he'd be good at it.
Yeah.
I'd like to see Kate Beckinsale.
Yeah, that'd be nice. Yeah.
I don't know why my mum went to Kate Beckinsale.
Good choice.
I think she'd command some authority. I think she'd be pretty damn striking in a Starfleet uniform as well. I'm serious about that answer.
Cold shower, AJ.
I don't know why my mind went there, but there we go. Ian says he totally agrees about Midsummer. I understand the connection after my wife died. It's a film I really love.
Yeah, it's very much a film about grief, isn't it?
I can't.
Yeah.
I'm not being horrible or mean to, but I didn't enjoy the film. It
No,
left a
I
bad,
found it very.
sour taste in my mouth. Yeah. So I can't really remember too much about it, apart from the feeling that it left me with. But then I suppose that's not a bad. I mean, okay, the fact the film had a negative effect on me is better than the film not having an effect on me, if that makes sense.
Yeah,
It's had a negative effect means that there's something about it.
It's something you'll think. It makes you think, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Think about.
certainly does. Yeah,
Having that empty feeling at the end of a film when you think, oh, just watch that, and you're just like, well, yeah,
It's
Yeah,
because,
no, that's right.
yeah,
it's
there
just
is-
forgotten.
yeah, it's because there is no conclusion really. It's like nothing has changed in her life. It's still horrible.
Yeah.
That's it. And, yeah, you're just like, oh shit, well, it is, isn't it? You just have to sit and just you watch films trying to escape horror, and then once you're left with a horrible notion like that, you're just like, I need to watch something light now because it's just a bit much.
I can see some of the stuff that's in it is just so done for shock that a lot of people may have just reacted by laughing at it because it's so, I'm sure in the theatres there would have been people sat there laughing because they don't know how else to deal with it, So, but yeah, I came away. It stuck with me for several days afterwards. Yeah, it's a film I wouldn't want to revisit myself, but I can see why. Certainly, if you're into horror, certainly the folk stuff. I mean, going back to the Wicker Man many years ago, it's that vibe about it that
that kind of cold,
very much seems to be. Yeah, they're bringing that back at the moment. That seems to be very in vogue.
Yeah.
This is true.
Again, Men, that was one that I just came away thinking, what was that about? I actually had to look up, find out what it was about because I just didn't really understand. Came away thinking, what is going on here? Why are we seeing all this? Just blew my mind.
There's a relevant question there. Oh, comment there. Not
There you
question.
go. Yeah.
Regarding Men.
Yeah.
Stuart owns way more horror in his collection than anything else.
Nice.
There's that comment again, passing by, Gareth. Okay, that's to do with the unit. Sounds bad, AJ. Better find the maid with the feather duster. She's located in the loft. Afternoon, Dr. Impossible. How you keeping, mate? Yeah. What's that referencing to? Because my mind's drawing a blank again. What did I say to elicit that comment?
The feather duster.
I don't know what I said. I don't know. You're gonna have to tell me.
Dust in the collection.
I don't know. I mentioned
Mr.
that.
Sheen.
Stuart says when the live is finished, I might watch the original Westworld. Not seen it for ages. I picked it up a couple of months ago, didn't I? Westworld and Future World both together. Yeah. CEX and Croydon had them both, so I picked them both up. But I've never seen Future World.
I've not seen Westworld.
Westworld's good.
Yeah,
Westworld.
The original with is that the Yul Brynner in that?
Yul Brynner, yeah.
Yeah, I've seen it. I've not seen it. I've not watched it recently, but
No,
I've not seen the TV series.
Oh, Michael was saying that's to do with me telling my wife to go into the kitchen, into a hobby room. That comment.
right, okay.
Michael says he got that Star Trek question from Reddit, and Tom Hanks and Nick Cage was mentioned a lot in the thread.
Wow.
Oh, there you go.
There you go.
Yeah.
Great.
Change my answer.
Great minds think alike.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Ian has put a name, Peter Capaldi.
I agree with this. I agree. His best season was with Bill. That's when it started getting a bit more charming and a little bit more. I don't know. He felt a little. I don't know, because I feel like I've talked about Capaldi so much today. I'm going to be quiet about him. I feel like that's give him a rest. I don't feel like to say any more about him.
Yeah, that was the other thing that kind of annoyed me a little bit about the Jodie era. It's like, how many companions do you bloody well need? How many? She had about 3 or 4 at one point, didn't she?
Yeah, it's gone back to too many people.
Yeah, you should. Doctor Who already had one companion, not multiple people. All piled into the title. It's just like, yeah.
So
really annoying.
You've got to wonder if that was a choice because they were worried about her carrying it alone.
Yeah.
Just
I think it's really down to Chibnall and who he is as a person, because I really put his first I really compare Jodie's era to that changeover of when John Nathan Turner took over as producer in Doctor Who in the that season 18, 19 onwards, because it was like season 18 was like, apart from the Master turning up, it was like fresh new ideas. We're not going to do anything old. We're going to do something new, and that's what Chris tried to sort of do. And then it didn't really work. It sort of worked, but then people were just like, and then the next season comes along. It's like, all right, bring back more monsters. We'll go back into that more. Into that more familiar territory of Doctor Who, it seems, which I don't know why. When it comes to Flux and stuff like that, that's where I think he really went more into his love of what he liked in classic Who, and really just went for it then. And I feel like that's where he excelled better, because War of the Sontarans, even with its ending, a little bit abrupt ending, it is probably one of the best Sontaran stories we've had in years, just for the whole fact it feels like he really got what classic Sontarans are about, because they've been Moffat sort of made a joke of the Sontarans throughout all his tenure, really, to be honest. So it's it was nice to see some seriousness brought back to some elements, but I do agree Chibnall has a problem with his writing, because he can be so just over-explain an entire scene. Why did you need to do that? You don't need to tell me what's happening when it's already happening in front of me. But if you want good Chibnall writing, it's always Torchwood I recommend, because he's written some of the best he's ever done on that show. That's the episode Adrift, the finale of season 2. Yeah, pretty good.
So here's a question. Here's a question to flip back to for Ian and Michael. Who is your favorite companion out of all the Doctors? Who's your favorite companion? Or
would like to hear these answers.
So a question for Ian and Michael. There you go.
Yeah.
All right, we'll see what they come back with. I know Michael's still watching. Sorry, Ian. I don't know if Michael's still about. He is. Oh no, he's still watching. He's already answered. But Michael says technically in Star Trek Beyond, Idris Elba was a captain of a ship.
Oh. And then my second option was John Boyega.
Okay.
There you go.
Cool.
This is how little I know of Star Trek.
So Dr. Impossible says he's not saying a word about Doctor Who, might get into trouble. I'll say The Seeds of Doom was a gothic nightmare with tinges of The Thing from Another World, minus Howard Hawks plus Douglas Camfield.
Yep. I'd say that. Very fair. That's what that era of Doctor Who was really good at, with Robert Holmes and Philip Jimcliffe. They were really good at just taking elements of known horror films and horror stories and just picking all the best bits and then making them into really interesting Doctor Who stories, which, to this day, a lot of people still say to this point, The Seeds of Doom is a really great episode. A bit long, but most of the time, the consensus is everyone really seems to like that story. I quite enjoy that story as well, to be honest.
Okay, so Blood of Satan, 1970. Blood of Satan Claw, 1971. Is that Tygon British film.
Good.
Folk horror. It's good, but I think it's a bit overrated now. Forgive my ignorance. What's Tygon? What's anyone?
Not heard of that.
Oh, they're
Is that a company? Is that
that's an old company. Let me have a look.
production company?
Yeah, Tygon.
There you go, learn something new every day.
Does sound like a Hammer title, but
Tygon is a British film production company. Yeah, made
Okay.
Witchfinder General, The Blood of Satan's Claw, The Curse of the Crimson Cult. Yeah, there's quite a few here. Doomwatch, Zeta 1, the Haunted House of Horror. Fair enough. Learn something new every day. I thought that name sounded familiar.
Dr. Impossible says, guess what I watched last night, AJ? Shoestring with Trevor Eve.
Blimey.
Holy God, my wife fancied the pants off Trevor Eve back then. Bristol DJ and Private Dick during the day and night. Brilliantly written. I don't know what that is.
I've seen it.
Shoestring.
Yeah, my mum used to be into it, but yeah, I think I've watched it during some point during my childhood. Yeah.
What was it? A show? Was it?
Yeah, he's a
All
private
right.
dick. Yeah, it's kind of a bit like Bergerac. Kind of that's kind of vein. You know, Midsummer Murders. You know, all those. You know.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah, Shoestring. That does ring a bell.
Yeah.
All right. Fair enough. I didn't know it. That one passed me by. First season with William Hartnell had 3 companions. It has worked before.
Yeah, it has.
Yeah.
But at the same time, most of those episodes were between like 6. There's quite a lot of 6, 7 parters in that first run of Doctor Who with those 3. Because that's where my recent Doctor Who watches is. Am I lagging? Question mark.
No.
No.
Okay. My screen's just frozen. Oh, there we go. So the first 3 seasons. Well, the first 2 seasons that are with Ian and Barbara, there are quite a lot of 6-parters, and there are quite a lot of times where the Doctor is written out of the stories because obviously Hartnell was notoriously hard to work with due to his declining health and how he saw things to be made and stuff like that. Which is But there are some points where you do have all the characters together and they do really work well in harmony together. So I think it depends on the writer. It depends on the circumstances of the episode. There are a lot of elements in Doctor Who which can, the slightest thing can make it just go wrong. It seems with that television show, unfortunately. But still I don't know. Yeah, I think just Chibnall can't juggle that many characters, unfortunately.
Yeah. Okay, it did include his granddaughter. Oh yeah, in fact, yeah. So Michael says his favourite companion was Sarah Jane.
Agreed. My favourite as well.
And Ian says that with his favourite male companion is Jamie.
Do you know what? I agree with that as well, Ian. Jamie is fantastic. You can't fault him. He's incredible in every scene he's in. Cool. Sarah Jane, Jamie.
Martin, what would you say? You asked a question. You got to expect to get back at you.
My knowledge is not that good, unfortunately. But I'm just trying to remember. I'm just trying to remember which companions he had. Sarah Jane is the only one that really kind of stick out. Did he have? Was there one called Teela at one point? Is it Teela?
Peter Davidson.
Sorry?
Peter Davidson's era.
I don't know who it was. I can't remember.
She's like the Australian. She was an Australian girl.
Yeah, she was an air hostess.
Yeah, she was in the most recent one, wasn't she, with Jodie Whittaker?
Yeah, I liked how Chibnall, I liked how there was just like going back to previous elements. I know they're like little Easter eggs and whatever, but I like how the Master sent her a Russian doll because obviously that's how the Master first killed Tegan's uncle and stuff like that. I like the personal.
I'm just going to look up Who companions. Sorry, while you're chatting.
That's what I like about Chibnall. It's just he can do human drama quite well. The drama between characters can be done quite well. Just overall sci-fi stuff, he can get a bit lost. In my personal opinion, obviously, because remember, it's just an opinion in it. I'm just some ginger guy on the internet. You don't have to take me seriously. I don't take me seriously.
Quite liked Karen Gillian as one of the companions for the modern Who.
Yeah.
She was quite good.
There was, just to say on this, Martin, because you brought her up, I did quite like her, but then there was a part of her which, again, I think is down to Moffat again. It's like she has this way about her where she is written like a dick a lot of the time. Like towards Rory, you're just like, I was rewatching it. I was just like, sorry, I'm really passionate about this because I really like when Rory and Amy have those really intimate moments with each other where they're like, you can't live without each other, and they're doing all of this because they love each other so much. But then I don't know what Moffat was on. He was just like, nah, just gonna make her a massive knob to thinking like trying to make the Doctor on the night of her wedding and stuff like that. I'm just like, oh,
here we go.
It's interesting you should say that. Who wrote the episode where Rose didn't want Mickey Smith to join her in the TARDIS?
That is. Oh, do you? That's the. Do you mean the one with the Krillitane in K9 School Reunion, right at the end, where he's like, "Oh, I want to come with you," or is because there's a couple moments.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm just wondering if because obviously Thingy was a writer on it then, wasn't he?
I don't know.
I'm just wondering if it had any connection them to, some of the stuff with Karen Gillan and that episode there. I just wondered if there was a writing connection because Rose Tyler came across as a bit of a bit nasty towards Mickey Smith at that point. Like, no, I want it.
Yeah, they were really pushing that. Oh yeah, Rose is really jealous and stuff like that. She's fallen in love with him and stuff like that. Yeah, it's really annoying that because that's season 2 is probably controversial opinion. Is my weakest run of stories because it's that dynamic Rose has because it does take away from a lot of this stuff. It's just like, oh, it feels like she's just whining about it. But I do understand it. It's like obviously she's been taken away from everything she knows. She's been like, this man has like become everything. So it's understandable, like jealousy and stuff like that. She's 19 in the show. So it's understandable that it's not going to understand everything. But yeah, it does make some scenes a bit like, because it does come up because that does come up in the next story, Girl in the Fireplace, which is actually written by Stephen Moffat, who did obviously all of the shows with, took over the show then, didn't he? And she is a bit like, oh yeah, you keep mentioning all these other women around me, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
But no, yeah, but it is still human, so I still kind of get it, so.
Fair enough. Have we done with thingies now, with companions?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
All right, cool.
Like talking too much.
No, that's fine. It's fine. I'll get you on with some proper Doctor Who fans, and then just leave the room.
Reset was good. Doctor Impossible, but I think what is my favourite? I don't know. I think Countryside in season 1 is done really well, personally, because I just like it because it comes at that point in the first series. But I will say that season 2 is way better than season 1, and Children of Earth is the best season. But I think Countryside is probably one of my favourites because it comes at that point in the show where it's all been weird aliens, you don't know what it is, and there's obviously that very simple sci-fi twist that you see quite a lot. I don't want to spoil it for anyone who hasn't seen it or wants to go out and see it because it really adds to it. But no, I think it just comes to a point where it gives it, like say with Midsommar, it has that feeling afterwards where you're just like, oh, nothing really has changed and life goes on and it's just all a bit shit. And so I don't know. I do think you do need it sometimes just to remind you that like you can't just go through your whole life thinking that everything's roses. You got to remember that you need the bad times with the good times because otherwise it makes it. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah,
Leela, that was the one. Tom Baker.
The Barbarian. Yeah.
Louise Jameson. Yeah, that was the one that yeah.
She's great.
Yeah.
So we have Replicant 70. new face. Hi guys, are any of you into home cinema as well as physical media collecting? That's pretty much what we're all about.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah. I love tech. Yeah, I love TV, speakers, everything. Yeah, I'm all into all that sort of stuff.
Yeah, cool. I have checked it out. He hasn't got a channel of his own. Yeah, he's been on YouTube since 2022 November, but he hasn't got a channel or anything. But yeah, no, that's what we're all about, mate. So yeah. Stuart George says he bought the original Full Journey box set of Star Trek, watched the first two, loving. I'm nearly 53, so I've dipped in and out of original Trek over the years. My project is to watch them in all in Gloria, all in their glory, I suppose.
All in their glory,
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah.
What's up? Oh, Stuart says Blu-ray. That's to Replicant, I'm guessing. I believe when Moffat was writing Amy and River's song, one hand was under the table when he was writing. Doing what, Michael?
Wanking himself.
Toby Whitehouse. Sorry?
Yeah, sorry. No. Yeah, no, carry on. Toby Whitehouse did write Story Union.
All right, fair enough. All right.
But no, yeah. Sorry.
But Torchwood had another episode that was fairly well done called Countryside. That's one you mentioned.
Yeah.
Bloody and rather well done. But the series was something of a mess towards the end.
Yeah.
Well, it never had home, did it? It never, it went from BBC 3, season 1 BBC 3, season 2 BBC 2, season 3 BBC 1, and then Stars for the final season.
Stars was a fucking miracle day. What kind of shit?
It never had, which was a shame.
Yeah.
Ian says you don't think Rory worked very well.
I think it worked a little bit. I think maybe just a bit better than Mickey, because Mickey was really shoved to the side for a lot of it, whereas Rory and Amy's relationship is brought into contention a lot throughout loads of this. Like some of the best stories of Moffat's eras are based around that, like The Girl Who Waited. Amy, I think Amy's choice, is really good as well. Like the fact that it's all about her, like just making a choice. Like it feels like sort of she is the main character of a lot of writing. It's not really about Matt Smith. It is about Amy and how she would deal with this. Maybe he's putting himself in the role. I don't know, but yeah, no.
All right, so Ash isn't going to like this, but I didn't like Children of Earth when I got around to watching it. Michael liked Miracle Day.
What?
There we go. That's a fight that you can have. Okay, so
that's crazy. I've actually never met anyone who's had that opinion, because I think Miracle Day was. Why I think it's so good is I don't really want to get too political, but it has that element to it where I generally feel like the UK government might slightly do something a little bit like that. I don't know. It felt a little bit. I don't know, with the way the climate has been over the last couple of years. Though, sorry to be one of those people, but to me personally, it did feel like that it did really show the class divide quite well, and I feel like it did have a lot of merit to it. It's like sort of like. You see it a lot in any sci-fi program, don't you? But I feel like it was just the fact that Russell T Davies was like, "Yeah, I'm going to do this in a Doctor Who based show," and just because he's always been very critical of the UK, and which is fair enough, because like he loves the UK. He loves the BBC and everything. He stands it, but obviously you have to be critical of what you love, don't you? That's what makes you, isn't it?
That's true, yeah. So. Mary Tam, that woman, that hourglass figure and the most beautiful eyes. Tom must have had problems with his hyper accelerator. So is Mary Tam the woman who played the one you mentioned, Martin?
No, that was
Mary Tam.
Played Romana.
Yeah, I don't know.
Sorry?
Louise Jameson played Leela.
Oh, so who's Mary Tam? Sorry.
Second incarnation for Romana, which is the blonde lady at the end of Tom Baker's era, probably of the City of Death. Have you seen City of Death? Yeah, Romana.
Okay.
Romana Mark II, people say.
I'm at the end of this, pretty much at the end of the comments. So now I'm going to say, right, I want no more Star Trek. I want no more Doctor Who.
Thank you. No, I've had enough myself. I don't.
Let's get some other questions in.
We talk about social media releases. I really want to talk about some Blu-rays and stuff.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Go on then. Fire away.
Anyway, what's everyone's biggest pre-order that they've got coming up? What are you most excited about? For me, it's the Texas Chainsaw Massacre Second Sight 4K release. I've got that on pre-order. Very excited for that. One of my favorite horror movies of all time.
Wait, is that one? Did someone open that today? I saw a Texas Chainsaw Massacre opening earlier.
No, that's not out yet. Second
Yeah,
Sight.
that's professional unboxings. He's
Yeah,
done
what did
that,
he
hasn't
open? That was Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
That was Texas Chain. Yeah.
So there's
Still booking it.
been two releases. There's they released one from Dark Side have released one, but there's the Second Sight one is out in middle end of April. I think it is.
Okay.
Yeah.
I've seen people say that it's the same transfer, but then I've looked on the listing. It says, but then Second Sight are actually. It says they're doing actual additional restoration work as
Correct,
well. So
yeah,
that's why
yeah.
I've opted for that one.
Yeah, the basis of the transfer is the Dark Side transfer, but yeah, they are doing additional work on it.
Yeah.
So yeah,
I'm
technically
not-
it's not.
So when what's his fate? What's the channel name? Matt, who done that showing?
Professional unboxings.
That's it.
It's the Turbine, so it's a German
Yeah.
edition,
Oh yeah, the
Turbine.
Turbine. That's a couple of
premium
years old.
edition.
So
This guy, he's always showing premium editions. They're really nice. Some of them are,
Hmm.
not cheap.
Yeah, the Turbine release is a nice release actually. I think it's still available, but I think it's been out of print for about a year. But unless they've reissued it, but the Steelbook set, the deluxe set that I had was a nice set. The only issue I got with Turbine is obviously all the extras, everything's in German, so you get all these nice collectors books and stuff, but unless you understand German, it's all kind of a bit irrelevant. It's kind of to spend like 60 euro on something that you can't read. I know you can use Google Translate and all that, but it's not really quite the same, is it? But
no. So I've got a question for you. Going back to Texas Chainsaw Massacre,
Yeah.
sort of. Have you ever tried to cold start a chainsaw?
no.
Nope.
Really difficult. The right pain, it really is. I've actually got a city in guilds in training in chainsaw. For work that I had to do years ago, and it's one of the hardest things when a chainsaw is cold. It's one of the hardest things to get started. Yeah, I just don't know how Leatherface does it all the time.
But going back to Ash's original question, so yeah, I've ordered Texas Chainsaw as well, but I don't know whether you've seen it, AJ, the new Leon Deluxe Zabi collector's set they've released.
Everything blue. The everything blue one.
I have, yes.
Yes.
I
Does
have.
look nice.
So I pre-ordered the deluxe set, which is the £100 one that's got all the garb in it. So I thought I'd go for that because I do love that film, Leon the Professional. Jean Reno and Natalie Portman.
Yeah, it's a great film, but there's an element of it that doesn't sit right with me, right? I can't watch that film without feeling extremely uncomfortable when Natalie Portman starts coming on to him.
I saw a video. I've not seen the film, right? But I did see a video talking about the guy who plays Leon and like the way he did. Like there was a specific way that he was in those scenes where he like, I don't know what it was. It was a really interesting little short video, but it was like about like how his relationship with it is like, it's to him, it's just literally strictly like parental. It's like nothing else. Which isn't. Yeah, it's interesting to see. I still, like I said, still need to watch it because I've heard really good things.
It's a good film. It's a good film. But on my last watch, which was a couple of years ago, I found those scenes to be so awkward. I felt uncomfortable during those scenes.
Yeah, maybe it's a film now that you obviously you wouldn't get away with that now, would you? But I think back when it was released, I think it was probably a lot of films now, isn't it? You know, you can get away with probably more stuff, but I understand what you're saying. Yeah.
It's all about the intent, really, with any film, isn't it? It's like you can say anything, but as long as it's got a meaning and you're not just doing it for the sake of like,
yeah.
No, absolutely, yeah. But no, I haven't pre-ordered that Leon or anything, not because of that reason. What I said, just basically cost. I'll be honest with you. I've bought a lot of these editions in the past, and I feel like for the most part I'm past that now, past wanting to get them, these bigger releases. I don't know why. I just am. You know,
got too many at once.
That's how I think that I think part of it is that the marketplace has become flooded. Over COVID, COVID had a big impact on the physical media market in the sense that there wasn't many new films coming out. These companies needed to make more money, and they started to ramp up these special edition releases, these all dancing, all singing versions. And, it's quietened down the past couple of months, but it's going to get super busy again. And not a week goes by that the latter part of last year, not a week went by that there wasn't a big release. There wasn't a fancy Dan release. And it's even got to the point now where a lot of this stuff doesn't sell out. I'm not saying those like Leon, I know they're very limited, so they will sell out. But your standard steelbooks, your Arrow releases, Second Sight, they used to sell out those sort of things, and now they don't. And that's a good insight into the fact that there are so many more. The people have so many more to choose from that they can't choose everything, and thusly some are being left behind. And then they end up in sales, things like this. So I don't know. So what about you then? What did you say, Ash?
Chainsaw Massacre.
Chainsaw Massacre.
Yeah.
See, I know, like with Matt, he had the Superman box set pre-ordered. I did, and I went the same way with Matt. What was that, Matt? What did you do with that?
Yeah, I cancelled it. It's a lot of money. And when you look at it, you look at the content on the discs. It's not as good as the Blu-ray set that we got with Superman Returns as well.
Oh, right.
So much.
Is that the blue one with the Superman logo on the front?
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
that's absolutely stacked with special features. When you compare, I mean, I think the steelbook for 3 and 4 look quite good, but the first two don't kind of match the 3rd and the 4th. Whilst it's nice to have the comic book and all that sort of stuff, I don't know, for the money that they're asking, I can't justify that. So.
That's fair enough.
Yeah, I think I haven't ordered it. I think the biggest issue I had with that set was the fact that the Superman the movie, the first film, didn't have the director's cut in 4K. Well, I don't think it even had the director's cut on Blu-ray from what I saw. And Superman 2, the Richard Donner cut, I watched that on Blu-ray on that set that you mentioned, Matt, recently, and a lot of the effects are unfinished on there. So I was kind of a bit concerned that would they finish those kind of visual effects, kind of like they did with the Star Trek motion picture, the director's cut of that one, where they kind of finished some of the effects, didn't they, that were kind of incomplete. But it doesn't look like they're just gonna release it as a kind of an upscale from the 1080p Blu-ray, which it's kind of a bit of an opportunity missed. And I think you're right. I think it's 130 quid. It's like it was a bit
what?
Like money.
Yeah.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah.
I mean, as pre-orders go, I think the one that I'm probably most looking forward to is the as a nice release would be season 2 of Chucky. To be honest, because they've done a nice job on that season 1 of Chucky release.
They did.
You know, with the stuff in it.
Mm.
And with season 2, it looks just as good. But yeah, I don't know. I feel like I'm in flux with my collecting habits. You know, a lot of it's gone back to older TV stuff at the moment that I'm picking up.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I went into a bit of phase like that because I do want to get, because quite a lot of the TV shows that I want to watch are all on streaming services that I don't pay for. So I'm just like, I want the box sets.
Yeah. Okay. I'll put up a comment and you can just give your reaction to it.
Go on then.
10 seconds. Because it's Doctor Who related.
Doesn't like Nightmare. Ooh, I want to know why you don't like Nightmare. Why don't you like it, Michael? I want to hear your opinions why you don't like it first.
What is Midnight?
It's the one where David Tennant is on the planet with diamonds, and he's on his own in the fit, and you can't see the creature, and it does the whole slow building and the way they turn on it. Yeah.
So Stuart's off to watch Westworld.
Enjoy, Stuart.
Lisa's here. Hi, Lisa. Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Get my words out. Texas Chainsaw Massacre is one of her all-time faves.
Nice.
I do remember used to watching it back in the days when it was banned and on a dodgy pirate VHS.
There's a channel which one of the very first physical media channels I ever watched on YouTube, and he's a Swedish guy called Disc Junkie, and he has got one of the most fantastic Texas Chainsaw Massacre collections you'll ever see. He's got literally every single copy on VHS that was ever produced.
I like it.
He's worth checking out. He's a real sort of his collection is vast, and he still puts out videos even now.
What's his name?
Disc Junkie.
All right, okay.
Been around for about, I don't know, 10, 12 years now. Maybe longer, but Swedish guy. Yeah, it's very, very, very good collection. He's very much into VHS now. Collects a lot of VHS stuff.
Oh yeah. All right. So Movie Mad. Hello, folks. We still want to get you on. Still need to get you on, don't we?
Yeah. He couldn't make next week. I did invite him on for next week, but he couldn't make it.
Yeah. Michael says he can't wait for the Tetris movie on Friday.
That did look really good. It looks pretty good by the trailers.
Yeah.
And without spoiling anything.
Yes, I did enjoy it. It was a nice way to round off the series. Number 3 is still my favourite, though, unfortunately. John Wick 2 is my least favourite. Doesn't matter. For the people who have seen the second one, do you have this opinion? Because I felt like it. I felt like the first act was a bit slow for me, and I was really not engaged until the switch happens on where everyone's against Wick again, where he's like, "Oh, I've done the job," and it's like, "No, you haven't." And it's just like, that's when it switched for me. I don't know. It felt a bit too safe. It felt like a lot of what had already been done in the first film. If that made sense.
Yeah, from what I've heard, mostly good stuff, Lisa, about John Wick 4. I haven't seen it yet, but I think reviews, apart from AJ's, have been quite positive.
Thanks. I think I gave the film a very fair.
No, you did.
I'm going to go watch your review after this, AJ.
A very fair review. I didn't spoil it.
No, you didn't.
Basically, I said that it's 3 hours long. It is very lengthy.
Yeah.
And what's that noise? Fight scenes just okay. I have an issue with continuous action. Action that rolls into action with no real strong narrative. it starts to become somewhat mind-numbing.
That's sort of how I felt that the John Wick films sort of are. Really, it's just sort
They
of
are, yeah.
a vessel to get to the action points. But you are right. There are points where I'm just like, there are some really great action. I'd go to the third one because that scene where he's fighting in the antiques bit, where they're all fighting with knives.
Yeah.
I thought that was incredible. Like that was so high tension. Like it's like, is he going to die here? But then like that, you know, the sequence leading up to the climax of the film, like it's just on and on. And it's just like, let's just go. It's just
Yeah.
That's
So
the problem with action films, though, isn't it?
I said that the film is technically marvelous. It looks great. It's the fighting, the choreography in the fighting is wonderful. Can't take away from that. I think I said there's the scene, when they're fighting with all the water coming down around them.
Yeah, that's
right. But I got to the point where I was, because obviously these fight scenes are not quick cuts. They're
long, yeah.
in camera. And I was, during that scene, I was watching the dancers in the background to see if there were any disjointed cuts in their movement. Got to that point. So I said it was technically great. I just have an issue with this. I find the repetitive nature of fight scenes to be somewhat disconcerting in a narrative.
No, that's a fair point. That is a fair point to the film. Yeah,
but the film was good. I'm not knocking that.
I was about to say that's a very fair opinion. To really so fair.
It's the same with something like what was that one with Clive Owen, shoot 'em up. Yeah.
Oh yeah, well, is that the one where he sticks the carrot for the man's face in it? Is that one?
I think so. It's just continue from beginning to end, fight, shoot, fighting, and it gets a bit sort of. I want something more. I want a bit more meat to the bone, so to speak. But no, it was good.
Yeah.
But there we go. Matt hadn't seen it yet.
Go watch it, Matt.
No, I haven't seen it either.
Go watch it, boys. I'd recommend it still.
Yeah.
Ian says some of these early horror films of the 70s were filmed quite low definition. Do they improve significantly? Some don't like The Hills Have Eyes. Would you be interested to see Texas Chainsaw?
Yeah,
the Arrow 4K was a tad better than the Arrow Blu-ray that they did a few years ago. But I agree.
Yeah.
They're not going to look amazingly different. But at the same time, if you're one of these people that maybe you just want that little bit extra goodness, then go for it. But if you've already got them on DVD or whatever, and you think that there isn't that much benefit in going for it, then I wouldn't recommend going for it. Because no, I really like The Hills of Eyes. That's one of my favorite 70s horror movies because I really like Wes Craven. I like how he writes his thematics into his films. Again, questions society in The Hills of Eyes, actually, like using the Sawney Bean tale, Highway Travelers, and stuff like that, the brutal eye. But some agree. Yeah, some films really don't benefit from it, but then some do. So, because there's a lot of people that say black and white films don't benefit from 4K. I say, have you actually seen the Psycho 4K? Because that film looks incredible. I was just like, it literally feels like it could have come out today because they did the transfer so well. But it depends on who you are, really. There's loads of YouTubers that disagree, and
Yeah.
Yeah, I try to be impartial. I don't like. I'm not going to hate on something. I try to kind of give a balanced review. The pros and cons of a transfer. Like in my one I did the other day for Martin. I thought it was a good transfer, but it's quite grain heavy, and I know a lot of people don't like that level of heaviness. But that's purely because. I think it was filmed on 16mm. That one, I think it's a very early George Romero filmed that just before he did Dawn of the Dead, I think. But there are elements of the picture which are good. The color structure and the and it has got a good level of detail in it, but it is quite insistent and inconsistent on the grain level, and I think that might put a few people off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's all down to film stock at the end of the day. And also the director's intent. Some of the director's intent might be that they want it to look that way.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. The way it was filmed. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
Famous example is probably David Lynch's Inland Empire, and it's like he made that purposely just being absolutely very hard to watch and whatever, but it's how he wants it. Yeah. That's how we are. We are the consumer. We see and we make our own interpretations. Some people don't. Some people like it. Yeah. That's part of the fun, isn't it?
Absolutely.
Indeed.
Indicator 10.99 for Frank Perry's The Swimmer with Burt Lancaster, and also Robin Hood at Hammer box set. Both will do nicely in my extensive collection.
Yeah.
Cool. Oh, this is a bit close to home, Gareth. We'll have to have a look at that. That's a bit deja vu. Isn't it?
Yeah.
Oh, maybe it was someone else, Matt. Has the indicator sale started? We'll have to check it out.
Yeah, I think it has actually.
Just to give a bit of thingy to that, I was trolled some time ago, and that was one of the things that was keep being said to me. I do cancel pre-orders. I pre-order something, and when I decide I ain't got the money or I don't want it, I cancel it.
Yep. That's right.
I swear this happened to a different YouTuber. There's this guy called Craig called Extra Goy. He used to do this, and he made a comment being like, "Oh yeah, the way that companies are with these pre-orders now, it feels like they're taking a bit of money. Like I'm cancelling my pre-orders for these reasons. Don't you carry on if you want to." And everyone just went in on him. So fair's, I mean, understandable. If you ain't got money, you ain't got money. Times are tough.
Yeah, or you have a change of heart on it.
Exactly. People are struggling to keep their lights on. I'm not going to get pissed off at you for cancelling the fucking plastic disc.
Thank you very much. Oh yeah, so the indicator sale has started then, yes?
Yeah. I think Craig at Bumper Movies posted something on Twitter. I think he's bought a load of stuff today from Indicator. I think.
Nice.
I thought I saw some. I'm pretty sure it was Craig from Bumper Movies. Yeah.
Are you the Leatherface of London, Adrian? And chop up some meat for me, the butcher of streams. The butcher of, so I butcher my streams. Is that what you're saying? I'll DM Ash after stream as to why.
Cool.
You get a little private. You should get a Doctor Who one going. You three, you, Ian, and Michael. You'll have like a whale of a time.
I'll be up for that.
Talking Doctor Who. I'll watch, but I can't keep up with your three's extensive knowledge of it.
Understandable.
Michael, you still need to get Video Tasties on stream. Still waiting for that one. Yeah, I know. I do. Thanks, AJ. Oh, thanks. AJ's too scared to face me. Except for on your streams, when I come onto yours, you're never on mine. We got the Punisher coming soon, where I'm watching Punisher with Gareth. He wants to do, is it June or July? You want to do Spirited sing along? All right, okay, so it's a Christmas film, but if you want to do it in July, I'll do it in June or July. I don't mind. I'll sing along to Spirited. I loved it. Rehan says, please don't ignore me. I don't believe we have. I believe he left one comment earlier that I brought up where he says, you are awesome.
Thank you.
And I said, all of you. I'm very happy today because Rianne says, I'm very happy today because I've got American Pie Reunion Blu-ray with slipcover for 50p.
Nice.
Good.
By Jane. Yeah.
Yeah, good price. Reunion. That's the fourth one, is it? You had American Pie, not counting the straight to video ones. You had American Pie 2, American Pie The Wedding, and then Reunion, was it?
Yeah.
They're quite good back in the day. I didn't mind them at all. Give Tasty as a jewel on Lambeth Green. Plastic lightsabers at the ready. He'll lose. He's well out of shape. So, anyone got any other? Matt, let's help me take this in another direction.
Oh gosh.
I'm all talked out. Come on.
I mean, we'll go back to Star Trek. Picard, I'm really enjoying. I think the latest episode has been really, really good. It feels like we're getting the next generations coming back after 2 disappointing series of Picard. This one really starts to, it feels like there's different people in charge of the writing. And I loved it. I thought it was great.
Yeah. It was like, how much fan fiction can you pack into one episode? So it's like, let's go back as far as we can. So they went back as far as Kirk, didn't they? And
they did, yeah.
Genesis torpedo, which I thought was a bit unusual because didn't that obviously that was destroyed in Star Trek 2. So how could they? So that was one thing I was a bit confused about. How could they still have the Genesis torpedo unless there was more than one? I don't know.
Apparently, it does say Mark II on the readout.
Got you. Okay. Yeah,
because
that was a cool little.
Yeah, because Carol Wasserface would still be alive. Would have still been alive, wouldn't she?
Carol Danvers.
No, that's Captain Marvel.
Oh yeah.
Oh, Kirk.
Kirk's missus. Carol.
Yeah.
Carol Marcus.
I can't think of her name. Yeah.
Carol Marcus, wasn't it?
Marcus.
That's it, Marcus.
Yeah.
Marcus. Yeah. So so I thought that was quite cool, and then obviously then they kind of went through all the different incarnations of the Enterprise. Obviously the Mark was it Enterprise? Was it A? Wasn't it?
A was there. Yeah.
Yeah, A was there.
The original. It wasn't the Enterprise, was it? It was the sister ship.
The original Enterprise would have been destroyed.
Yeah.
What
was the other one? What was it? I forget what it was called.
I don't know. I'm
Michael
sure
would know what it. Michael would know.
He'll be tapping
They
away.
showed that.
They had Voyager on there as well, didn't they?
Voyager was there. Yeah. Defiant.
Yeah. Defiant.
And there was like a Klingon battle cruiser was there.
Yeah.
Original one from like the sort of motion picture.
Yeah.
And obviously you had the one from Voyage Home as well with the
bounty.
Yeah,
the bounty.
That was a nice nod. Yeah.
So so it was it was a really good. Like you say, Matt. I think I've really enjoyed this series. Actually, I think it's it's been good to see the old Next Generation cast come back. So it's been quite.
I think it's very clever what they've done. Again, spoilers for anyone who hasn't watched it yet, but what they've done with the character of Data. That's clever. I don't want to go. I don't want to spoil it. It's clever. It's a clever way of bringing certain characters back together, isn't it? Without trying to spoil it too much. So if you haven't seen, right?
Sorry, I was going to say, Ash, you're not a Star Trek man, are you?
No, I've only seen the odd episodes of the classic series here and there, and I've seen the first 2. I've seen Star Trek and Star Trek Into Darkness with Chris Pine. That's it.
Oh, fair enough.
I did quite enjoy the Chris Pine ones actually for what they were. I didn't mind them. I think I'd have to rewatch. To be honest, we only went to watch Star Trek Into Darkness because we were in high school, and my mate Sean was like, "Oh yeah, I'm going on a date with this girl," and we're like, "All right, what are you going to go see? Star Trek Into Darkness? All right, cool. When? After school?" And then me and my mates turned up, and we just sat at the back taking the piss out of him.
Oh God!
It was just sat there like the whole film, just like.
Oh no, he should never have said.
No, luckily he didn't last with that girl because they weren't made for each other anyway, to be honest. and then he ended up with someone for about 7 years. So yeah, better stories, better life.
John with the wind. Hello, AJ and all. Hope all's good.
Hi, John.
So again, anyone watching, make sure you subscribe to people, the guests. I did add links to the top of the live comments if they're still there. I don't know if they work. I don't know if they work as links in there or if they're just you'd have to copy and paste. Honestly, I don't know. But yeah.
Back to Mandalorian, what did you think of the latest episode of The Mandalorian, if you've seen it?
Haven't
Have you seen
it
that, Martin?
I have, yes. Yeah.
Yeah. Hold on 1 minute. I'm conscious. Ash, do you watch it?
I do watch it. I've not caught up on the latest episode.
Okay.
Yeah,
I won't spoil anything then. Yeah, I won't spoil anything, but I enjoyed it. It was a good episode. Short, but good.
An improvement over the previous episode, which I thought kind of just came out of nowhere. You suddenly, I don't know, it just went off on a complete different tangent, didn't it?
Yeah, it started off and then just completely went in a completely different direction and then went back to how it started. So it was it's kind of very strange, odd. Yeah, but yeah,
it was like watching two different shows, wasn't it? Almost.
Yeah, it was probably about 20 minutes too long, that episode. They probably could have cut a lot of that stuff out, the middle part out. To be fair,
I've found this season of Mandalorian to be directionless. Nothing's happening.
Yeah, not at the moment, no.
We're 4 episodes in.
Yeah,
and I cannot tell you what the story is. I can tell you what's happened, but I can't tell you an overall narrative of what this season is doing.
No, the only thing I would say in the latest episode, without giving anything away, is obviously something that they're kind of, I don't know, something's going to happen. Obviously, they've shown something,
can't they? Yeah.
Yeah, they've put that in there for a reason. So, kind of watch this space, I suppose, without giving anything away.
Real Fifth Beatle says Andor was okay, though, even though he can't stand Disney Star Wars.
I didn't
like that.
I didn't like Andor.
Gave up with it.
I watched it to the end. I found it very too slow paced. It could have been condensed down to something smaller. But I do agree with his next comment that Gina Carano did nothing wrong.
Correct.
Well, I totally agree.
Yeah.
Although we won't go
She's
down.
Good action star as well.
She is. She was
very good action star.
I like Gina Carano a lot. But no, she didn't do nothing wrong. What she said was just twisted and perverted, shall we say?
Do you think that she's been chastised now for those comments? Do you think that movie companies won't go near her now because they're worried that she's going to have like another kind of Twitter outburst or her views on what she talked about, which are, at the end of the day, are her own personal views, whether
which were nothing
or not, it's her, I just feel that she's kind of a bit kind of people won't touch her with a kind of barge pole now. I don't know. She kind of.
Well, she's done that one. She's done that Western with I forget the company name, but Ben Shapiro. Do you know Ben Shapiro?
Yes, yeah.
His company, the company he works for. She's done that film, and there's another one coming. I believe, because she's done a big interview with him afterwards. Because he's very much that way inclined, so he supported her, didn't he? In that and what she said, and had her on Daily Wire, yes. Real Fifth Beat, Daily Wire hired her,
okay, right.
Well, there's been not to be that guy, but there are some points in 2020 where she did say some stuff like, I'm not getting into everyone's opinions on what they think of trans people right now and whatever, but she did say some things that word for people who identify in that group.
Yeah, it is deemed offensive. And at the same time, we do live in a society where it is freedom of speech, but it's also freedom of consequence. You can say what you want, but also if you say something that someone doesn't like, someone's going to have a problem with it.
So
and
what?
Depending who you are, it's like you can. What is it? I don't know. It's maybe because I've spent so much time on like the YouTube space, on like the other side of it, like not like BlueTube, like all the drama-esque and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's just these arguments and stuff like that. These conversations always come up, and it's like there's so much grey. Like no one wants to have a nuanced conversation about a lot of it. Some people are scared to go into the grey areas about it. Some people are scared to change their opinions on some stuff as well. It's like, but I don't know really. It's just.
I think she was harshly treated though, regardless of.
Yeah, it's probably there is ways of letting people go as well. You have contracts and stuff like that.
Yeah,
it's like you have to if you've set rules up and she didn't, like, that's the thing. If there's rules, she didn't follow them, understandable, terminate her no matter what it is. Like but yeah, no, it's
we'll never really know what was said or what was said behind the scenes. We just don't know. So
it's all how I see it in this actually, it's just I just try and treat people with as much respect as possible. I don't really know most people's stories, and I just try and get on with it because I don't really know what's going on in my own life for most of the time. And how is it fair on me to judge someone's mentality or how they see something most of the time when I don't understand it? Probably my moral draws the line at if you're being generally hateful towards someone, that's where I'm going to step in and be like, no, you can have your opinion, but if you're putting someone else down.
So was she being hateful?
Well, this is what I've said.
I know you had the beep bop boop comments.
Yeah, that's it. It's like that's my interpretation of that is just like she's been asked to do something, she says no, but instead of just doubling, then just being quiet and being like, nope, I'm not going to do it. She did the thing in a thingy, being like taking the joke out of it. It's like, so to some people that I'm just trying to be like that nuanced person in the middle, trying to understand it all, trying to be like, maybe like you see, it's like, okay, you don't maybe you don't agree with it, but then doing something like that just makes it seem like super. I don't know. It's a really hard conversation to have in it. It's like because society, like what is it? Social stuff changes all the time. That's why film and cinema keeps adapting because we as humans keep adapting, and it's like, I don't know.
Yes. All right. Anyway, let's move on.
I didn't want to get onto this.
I do like a difficult conversation, and I would love to talk about this stuff. As Matt knows, I've got no issue with it.
Come meet me for a pint and talk about it. Come meet for a pint and talk about it with you.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll do that. Where are you anyway? Where are you based?
Norwich.
Oh, well,
Currently.
Norwich. Oh, okay.
Yeah. I saw that you two went and met up in Peterborough the other week. I was like, yeah, that's near me.
Oh.
Yeah. I mean,
I've been meaning to go up there, to be honest, because I've been meaning to because I like. To be fair, I got it from my AJ. It's like I like seeing these CEX videos of people like going like into like really. AJ was my first experience of a YouTuber going into just loads of different CEXs, just really close. Like, oh, there's this one that's 2 minutes from me. I just went for a drive and just like stuff like that. And I wanted to start doing more like that myself. So like trying to go to smaller towns that I know like have just one CEX or whatever, just see what's going on and stuff like that. Just shop around.
I'm quite lucky because it don't matter what direction I go in. There's probably one within like a 10-minute walk. The joys of London.
No, Pete Playtendo guy. He's
who's on? He's on with some questions down below, so we will get to them.
Oh, is he? Okay, no, I was just saying because he sometimes goes to Norwich.
Hey.
Sometimes he goes to Boston as well, and King's Lynn.
Yes.
So he's around this sort of neck of the woods, sort of east of England. I'm on the edge of the east of England, I suppose. Yeah.
Yeah, so Ian says, yes, Star Wars should have ended with the original trilogy.
I would say prequels, but
a lot of people don't like the prequels, though, do they?
Disney taking them. Yeah, I know. There's two trade, but they've improved over the years.
Yeah.
So Disney taking the moral high ground whilst thanking the Chinese government for their support.
They've been doing that for years, though, haven't they? Disney's been taking the moral high ground since like the 30s, the 40s, isn't they? They just.
Hi, Pete.
Hi,
Oh,
Pete.
hello.
Thank you for your comments there. J.K. Rowling is one of the most liberal women alive and has been hounded by the tolerant trans community. All right. Here we go. Here's a question, because we are going to finish soon, so we are 2 hours in. So let's get. Wait. Wait, let me come back to that because I'm going to finish with that question. But Real Fit People says stating biological science is hateful to some of these lunatics. I'm always banging on about this. Okay, so let's not get into that debate. Yeah. But this is the last question I'm taking, and then we'll round up. We're all right for another 10 minutes, I suppose, are we?
Yep.
Matt, is that all right?
Yeah.
I'm off out in a little while anyway. If you could pick one film to get a lavish special edition release, what would it be, and what would you like in the set?
Very good question.
That's a nice question to end on.
Good question.
So who's going first?
I need to think about this.
Same.
I think a title that a lot of people want on 4K, and I would love to have a special edition of it, is The Abyss.
I knew you were going to say that.
What, Phil?
The what?
Yeah.
The Abyss.
The Abyss.
Right. Isn't that supposed to be? Isn't that in the works at the moment, or was that stopped being in the works? I swear that was that 4K transfer.
Well, the other day I heard that it is coming out this year, but I've heard from 2 big YouTubers. One Films at Home, who's an American guy.
Love that guy.
He says it's not coming out this year. But then there's another guy, him and his wife do it together. I don't know whether you see their film. And he does those videos where he has to basically justify what he's bought each month to his wife.
Mid-level media.
Yeah. Now, the other day he said that The Abyss, True Lies, Titanic were all coming out this year. So I don't know. But yeah, that's my pick.
But what would you like in the set, Matt? If you could get, if it was a set with stuff, what would you like in it?
Oh, I'd like a booklet, about the production, some nice art cards, there's some fantastic imagery in it. Just a really nice, special edition would be great, with both cuts of the film, 4K presentation, Blu-ray in there as well. So yeah.
Who's up next?
I've got one.
Go on then.
A limited edition Saw box set with every Saw film up to date in it, in the style of like a Scream Factory style set, with because there's so many different cuts of different Saw movies, and each like DVD has so many different special features. Like I've still got all my old ones. Like I'd love to have like a proper set where they're all together, all the bonus features are ported over properly. Like I said, nice art cards. Just I think Saw is one of my favorite franchises. For the Saw element, is like I love all the cop drama stuff, and I love all the twists and turns, whatever. But yeah, I think that, or a Nightmare on Elm Street, because the Nightmare on Elm Street box sets are so lacking in special content. It kind of upsets me a little bit. And the fact that it's one of the best-selling horror franchises of all time, and Miramax aren't doing, is it Miramax that owns it, or is it New Line Cinema that still owns it? I can't remember.
It was New Line, as far as I'm aware.
They're just not doing anything with it, are they? It's like, please, just give the fans something. Or a Chucky box set as well. A redo of that would be quite nice. Mine.
So I would say, if he's saying one film, I would say, well, if it was going to be a set, I would say it'd have to be the Aliens set that we had a few years back. But if it's one particular film out of that set, it would be Aliens, the second one. I would love a special edition of that with like a massive like pulse rifle like prop or something like a face hugger or something, something creative that's kind of in the packaging, like packaging will be the face hugger or something along that kind of along those lines on 4K, like a big
Or
like
an egg that opens up.
yeah, an alien egg, something like that would be cool. Yeah, and have the 4K Blu-ray in the middle of the egg. That would be really good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There we go. I haven't really got one. What can I don't know. I don't know. Well, I haven't got one for you, Pete, I'm afraid. Sorry. But there you go. You've got 3 answers from three great gents who, if anyone's watching, haven't subscribed yet, go and subscribe because we're wrapping things up now. So, Matt's jumped off. He's left.
He's not hanging around.
Yeah, no, he'll be back in. I don't know what's happened there. But yeah, so what's left to say? Have you got anything coming up on your channels in the near future? You want to sort of? You're working on an opening, aren't you? Ash?
Yeah, just halfway through editing the season 9 unboxing, and I'm going to do me. I'm going to record on me pickup videos and stuff like that, and I'm planning on doing a Asian cinema collection video soon because I've been rewatching a lot of my Korean cinemas in my collection. Started.
All right,
Yeah,
brilliant.
I really like it. Just want to talk about it, really.
Cool. And Martin, yourself?
Yeah, I've got a weekly pickups video coming out probably in the next day or so. Stuff that I bought in the last couple of weeks, and then I'm hoping to do a couple of large kind of unboxings of a couple of like large steelbook collector's sets. A couple of things that I've got that I want to do some kind of in-depth unboxings for. So that they'll probably be coming in the next few weeks. Yeah, week, 2 weeks.
Cool. Okay,
Yeah.
so obviously I can't. Matt said he's lost connection there.
Okay.
All right, Matt.
Yes, right.
Me personally, Matt, have you got anything coming up? Who's on? If you're watching, just put in the comments. Who have you got for your live next? Let us know. If you can't get back on, just drop it there. But me personally, what have I got coming up? Well, I watched Thingy last night, Jaws 4, The Revenge, for my Defending a Dud episode 5, where I will go in, talk about the problems with the film, and then try and give a defence for the film's existence and see if I can kid myself that it's, or other people that it's, there's actually a bit of worth to the film. Sometimes I fail. Sometimes I may not fail. I'm sort of 2 for 2 at the moment. Past 4. I think I achieved 2 well and lost the other 2. But yeah, there we go. I couldn't defend The Mummy, and I couldn't defend Ghostbusters 2019. So Jaws is up next. Jaws 4. Yeah, I was hoping to get it done and out for tomorrow, but that won't be the case. So it'll probably be next Sunday for that.
Yeah.
Just one last, Mega Mike the Movie Man. Just saying he's going to a comic convention today. Already have first, second, third appearance of Punisher. Any other Punisher comics I'll be looking out for? Amazing Spider-Man issue 120. Oh wait, already have the first, second. Oh, okay. So you've got Amazing Spider-Man 129. I would say look for Welcome Back, Frank. The first Dark Ennis storyline. Fantastic Punisher story done from the early 2000s when the Punisher came back. Or Suicide Squad. Not Suicide Squad, Suicide Run. Suicide Squad. The Suicide Run storyline. Not that they're worth anything, just that they're good stories. So yeah, Welcome Back, Frank, and Suicide Run storyline. Okay, so we're going to leave it at that. So thank you for watching, everyone. Thank you to Matt for joining, who obviously we've lost because of connection.
Lovely to meet you, man.
Yeah, Martin, great having you back on again.
Thanks for
Have
inviting.
you on again at some point down the line.
Yeah, thanks.
Ash, thanks for coming on. And again, if you want to come back on again sometime, more than welcome.
More than happy to. Thank you for having me on, boys. It's been lovely to meet the 3 of you.
Yeah,
Been absolutely lovely.
Still, likewise. And if people who haven't, Matt says he's got Kermit's Ghost and Trevor from Double Bill Movies on next week. Great, good stuff.
Good guess.
Just keep an eye out for that. So I'm going to end this now. So thank you and see you later. Obviously, hang around because we've got a little wrap up in the green room.
Yep.
Where we can say our goodbyes.
Yeah.
See you later, all. Thanks for watching.
everyone.
Bye bye.
All right.